7 years ago, Rob Pelinka made a decision that still haunts Crypto.com Arena, February 7, 2019. That's the date Lakers fans should have circled in red on their calendars, not as a celebration, but as a reminder of what could have been. And tonight, I'm going to walk you through something that might sound impossible. Stay with me, because the pieces are starting to align in a way that nobody saw coming. Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your home for the comprehensive cover, deep strategic analysis, and the exclusive insights on our Los Angeles Lakers you won't find anywhere. I'm bringing you inside the basketball operation thinking, inside the player evaluation process, and today I'm diving into a story that connects our past mistake with a potential future that could fundamentally transform the franchise's trajectory for the next 5 years. Let me start by asking you to think about, close your eyes and picture perfect Lakers center. What does that look like? 7 feet tall, elite rim protection, consistent rebounding, can finish around the basket, doesn't need plays called for him, but can be a legitimate threat, pick and roll, stays healthy, plays with intensity every single night, and most importantly, understands what it means to wear purple and gold. Now open your eyes, because that player exists. He's playing basketball in Los Angeles. He's just wearing the wrong uniform, playing in the wrong building, representing the wrong organization. And the absolute tragedy of this situation is that he used to be ours. He was developed by us. He learned the Lakers way under our coaching staff, and then we gave him away for absolutely nothing. I'm talking about Ivica Zubac. Before you click away thinking this another nostalgic mistake, I need you to understand that what I'm about to present to you grounded current reality in contractual situation, in organizational dynamics, and in strategic opportunities that are emerging right now as we speak. This isn't fantasy. This isn't wishful thinking. This is about connecting dots people aren't attention and exploring a scenario that could actually become reality if the Lakers are bold enough, smart enough, and aggressive enough to make it happen. Let's establish the foundation here. The Lakers have not had a stable, long-term answer at center position since we won the championship 20. Think about that for a moment. 6 years removed from our last title, and we still haven't figured out arguably the most important position on a championship caliber roster after your stars. We've tried everything. We've signed veterans on minimum deals. We've traded for expensive rental. We've drafted projects who haven't panned out. We've pieced together rotation of undersized bigs and stretch fours playing out of position, and the result has been the same every single season. Playoff disappointments, defensive vulnerabilities in paint, inconsistent rim protection, and, most frustratingly, watching other teams dominate us in the areas where having an elite center all the difference. DeAndre Ayton was supposed to be the answer this season, and to his credit, he's been solid. He's given us production. He's provided rim protection. He's been a body in the paint who can rebound and finish. But here's the uncomfortable truth that Lakers management is dealing with right now. Ayton has a player option for next season. He could walk. He could decide that Los Angeles isn't where he wants to be long-term, or that he can get more money elsewhere, or that he wants a bigger role than what we can offer him playing alongside Anthony. We signed him off a buyout at a deflated market. That's not a sustainable model for building championship run. That's reactive problem-solving, not proactive team construction. And if Ayton leaves after this season, right where we've been 6 years, scrambling, searching, hoping. Now let me paint you the picture of what we gave away when we traded Zubac to the Clippers back in 2019. At the time, he was a young center on a rookie-scale contract showing flashes of real NBA talent. The Lakers were trying to clear salary cap space for max free agent pursuits that summer. The logic was flexibility. We needed to make room for the big fish, and Zubac spendable. So we sent him across the hall to the Clippers for essentially nothing of value. Mike Muscala came back and played 12 gettable games and then disappeared from Lakers. Meanwhile, Zubac has spent the last 7 years becoming one of the most consistent, productive, and underrated centers in the entire NBA. Let me give you the numbers, because this is where it gets painful. Last season, Zubac averaged 11.7 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks per game while shooting 65.5% from the field. 65%. He's an efficient scorer who doesn't waste possession. He's averaging a double-double over the past 3 seasons. He's been the Clippers' best rebounder and rim protector during their entire competitive window with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. He's played in 70 or more games in 4 of the last 5 seasons, showing remarkable durability for a big man in today's NBA. And perhaps most importantly, he's done all of this while being paid like a rotation player, not like a star, which has given the Clippers incredible value and flexibility in building their roster. This is what the Lakers have been missing. This is the exact profile of player we've been desperately searching for, and we had him. We developed him. We let him go for nothing. But here's where the story takes an interesting turn, and this is where I need you to really lock in with me, because the landscape is shifting in ways that create genuine opportunity. The Clippers are in transition. They're moving to their new arena in Inglewood. They lost Paul George in free agent. Kawhi Leonard's health remains perpetually questionable. They're trying to figure out their identity, their competitive timeline, and their financial flexibility moving forward. And Ivica Zubac, as good as he's been, is entering final year of contract. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I don't have inside information at Zubac shop. I don't have sources telling me deals are being discussed. But what I do have is a deep understanding how NBA teams operate, how contract situations create leverage, opportunity, and how organizational dynamics can create windows for moves that seemed impossible just months early. And when you look at where the Clippers are, where the Lakers are, and what both teams need strategically, there's a scenario here that makes too much sense to ignore. The Clippers are facing some serious financial decisions. They're paying James Harden significant money. They're dealing with Kawhi's max contract and his injury uncertainty. They need to rebuild their supporting cast and figure out if they're truly contending or if they're transitioning into a different phase of their competitive cycle. Zubac is valuable to them, absolutely. But if they're not convinced they can win a chip in the next 2 years, does it make sense to pay him market rate on his next contract, or does it make more sense to explore trade options that could bring back assets, pick, or younger talent that aligns with a longer timeline? These are the conversations that happen in NBA decision-making rooms every single day, especially when contracts are expiring, teams are evaluating their competitive windows. From the Lakers' perspective, this represents ultimate redemption opportunity. Imagine being able to correct what many consider the worst trade decision of the post-Kobe era. Imagine bringing back a player who knows the organization, who has ties to the city, who would be coming home. Imagine solving your center position not with another rental, not with another aging veteran on a minimum deal, not with another draft project who needs 3 years of development, but with a proven, elite, durable center who's in his prime and has years of high-level basketball left. It's not just filling a need, it's making a statement. That's signaling to Anthony Davis, to LeBron's potential successor, to the entire organization that we're serious about winning champions, not just competing playoff. Let's talk about fit, because this is crucial. Zubac would be perfect team needs right now. He doesn't need the ball. He's not going to demand 20 shots a game or require plays. He operates within the flow of the offense, finishes lobs, crashes the offensive glass, and provides that vertical spacing, opens up driving lane for our guards cutter. Defensively, he gives you legitimate rim protection. He's not going to get played off the floor in playoff matchups against elite offensive teams. He can switch when needed. He communicates well. And he's got the size and strength to battle with the league's best big men. And perhaps important, he plays with the kind of consistent energy and focus championship teams require from their role play. Think about what a lineup would look like with Austin Reeves running the offense, having weapons on the perimeter, Anthony Davis operating as a hybrid four who stretch the floor or operate in the mid-range, and Zubac manning the paint as your traditional multiple. That's a defensive scheme where you can actually protect the rim without asking AD to carry the entire defensive burden on his shoulders every single night. That's a rotation that makes sense, that has sustainability, that has championship potential. And the beauty of Zubac's game is that he's not ball dominant, he's not ego-driven, a professional who understands his role and executes at a high level night after night. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What would it actually take to make this happen? The Lakers don't have a treasure chest of assets. We don't have multiple first-round picks available to trade. We don't have a stockpile of young players on rookie contracts that other teams are desperate to acquire. But here's what we do have. We have expiring contracts that could work in a salary match. We have second-round picks that could be packaged. We have the appeal of being the Lakers, playing in Los Angeles, competing for champions. And most importantly, we have leverage that comes from understanding the Clippers' situation and being willing to offer them a path forward, sense, timeline, and the goal. A realistic trade package could involve some combination of future second-round picks, potentially a young player like Jalen Hood-Schifino, who hasn't broken through in our rotation, but could get opportunity elsewhere, and salary matching pieces that help both teams financially. The key is finding that sweet spot where the Lakers aren't gutting their future, but are being aggressive enough to signal serious intent, and where the Clippers are getting value that justifies moving on from a productive player. These deals happen all the time. time, and teams trade productive veterans who don't fit their timeline for assets that do. The question is whether Rob Pelinka or management team have the activity, courage, and the conviction to pursue this. Let me address skeptics, because I know some of you are thinking this far. You're thinking Clippers would never trade. You're thinking Zubac value for them to move. You're thinking the Lakers don't have enough to offer, and those are all fair concerns. But let me give you some counter-arguments based on how the NBA actually operates. First, rivalries matter to fans, but in management offices, it's about value and strategy. If the Lakers offer the best package and it aligns with Clippers' goals, they'll make the move. We've seen division rivals trade with each other countless times. Second, Zubac's value to Clippers needs to be weighed against their championship window and financial flexibility. If they're not convinced they can win in the next 2 years, his value shifts. And third, the Lakers' assets might not be overwhelming, but they represent something tangible that the Clippers could use to rebuild or retool, which might be more valuable to them than paying Zubac $20 million annually on his next contract. Here's another angle that nobody's talking about. Zubac himself might have interest in returning to the Lakers. Think about it from his perspective. He was drafted in Los Angeles, started his career here. He has history with this organization, and now he has the opportunity to come back as an established, proven player and be part of a championship contender with one of the most iconic franchises in all of professional sports. The Clippers, for all their improvements in their new arena, still don't have that champion. They don't have that history. They don't have that winning culture that comes with being a Laker. If Zubac is prioritizing winning a ring in the next phase of his career, where do you think he'd rather be? With a Clippers team in transition, or with a Lakers team that's building around Anthony Davis and competing for title? The timing of this potential move is also crucial, and this is something I want you to really think about. We're at the midpoint of the season, right? The trade deadline is teams are evaluating their assessing the championship chance and deciding whether to buy, sell, or stand. The Lakers are in that fascinating position where we're competitive to justify making a move, but we're also clearly one piece away from being a legitimate threat in the West. This is exactly when championship organizations make bold moves. This is when you identify the missing piece, figure out what it costs, and go. Waiting until the offseason might Zubac signs an extension with Clippers, or another team swoops in with a better offer, or the opportunity simply evaporates. Time to act is now. I also want to talk about what this move would signal to the rest of the league and to our own fan base. 7 years we've heard about Zubac trade. It's become a meme, punchline, a constant reminder of organizational mistake. Bringing him back would be the ultimate statement that we learn from our errors, we're willing to be creative and aggressive to correct decisions, and that we're committed to building a championship roster regardless of pride politics. That kind of bold decision-making resonates throughout an organization. It tells players that management is serious. It tells fans that we're not content with mediocrity. It tells the league that the Lakers are back to being the Lakers, making moves that other organizations wouldn't even consider because they're too worried about optics or admitting mistake. Let's also consider the alternative scenario, because this is about being realistic and comprehensive in our analysis. If the Lakers don't pursue Zubac, what are the options? We could use our upcoming draft pick, a young center prospect, and hope he develops quickly enough to contribute meaningfully in the next 2 to 3 years. That's a long shot, given our win-now timeline with Anthony Davis. We could hunt for another buyout candidate in the offseason, repeating the Ayton model and hoping we get lucky again. That's not sustainable and doesn't solve the long-term issue. We could throw money at a free agent center, but the market is always inflated, and we have limited cap flexibility. Or we could just run it back with what we have. It's good enough. None of those options are as attractive as trading proven, durable, high-level center who's entering his prime years and would instantly solve our biggest. The basketball is undeniable. The strategic timing makes sense. The opportunity exists because of contract situation and organizational dynamic. So the question becomes, do the Lakers have the vision and the courage to make this happen? Do they have the creativity to put together a package that works for both sides? Do they have the conviction to pursue this aggressively, even knowing it might mean admitting that letting Zubac go in the first place a catastrophic mistake? I believe this is exactly the kind of move that separates good franchises from great ones, and I believe Lakers fans deserve to see management be bold and strategic in addressing our most glaring need instead of hoping and praying that a solution falls into. But the opportunity is real, the need is undeniable, and the potential impact champion inspiration significant. Smash that that notification bell so you never miss our daily coverage, because I'm bringing you this level of exclusive insight, comprehensive analysis, and bold take every single day. This is where serious Lakers fans come for serious basketball. Share this video with everyone in your Lakers community who needs to understand what's actually possible. We're building something special, and I want you to be part of it from day one. Until next time, let's keep believing, pushing for excellence, and let's trust that our Lakers management has the vision to make the moves necessary. Championship number 18 backed. Lakers Nation,